Hello there.
Thank you for giving me some time today.
Oh, of course. I like what you guys are doing at Nostr.Report.
Thank you. You've been very busy.
Yes, it's been a quite hectic conference, quite hectic few weeks as well. We launched this Build on Bitcoin campaign. We have a hackathon coming up, and yeah, some client work. So it's just like a lot.
Insane.
Yeah.
I caught a little bit of your talk today. It was pretty interesting. I like everything's around fun, and I like that. But I want to talk to you about building on. Well, you said building on Bitcoin, but I also want to talk about building on Nostr,
Mhm.
and what does that mean for non-Bitcoins, not non-Bitcoiners, not Bitcoin non-Bitcoin companies. Okay, so we are at BTC Prague, and of course, like we're gonna touch the topic. And you were mentioning earlier that you just launched a hashtag campaign. But my focus right now is to understand. You have it's called Bolt Fund,
Bold.fun, yeah.
Bolt Fund,
Yeah, yeah.
which is a company.
Well, it's not. It's a project incubated out of my agency, Peak Shift. So we function kind of like a venture studio, and like one of our ventures was this thing. Now it's a unprofitable venture because it's really for the public good.
Uh-huh.
We wanted to show a different way of building community, building products, and innovating. And we want to encourage more people to do that. Obviously, with or on Bitcoin. Um, but what does that really mean, right? Because obviously, you guys are interested in Nostr, and for me, whether like Nostr is adjacent to Bitcoin no matter what, right? It uses even some of like the cryptography and stuff like that for key generation, private key generation, for Nostr relays, the signing, etc. And of course, we have Zaps on Nostr.
Yeah.
Zap a whole what is it? I don't know how you say zap in Nostr. Like how do you zap something? Oh,
You
zap a
zap.
noost.
Zap
No,
and
no, 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 no. Actually, I have one.
say
Okay,
it. Maybe we
check it,
make
check
it
it.
viral.
No, I forgot about this one. So, what do you call? So you have tweet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's it in Nostr?
Notes.
No,
What is it?
that's boring.
What do you? What? How do you make it
I
fun?
noosed.
A noose.
I noosed.
Oh yes, because it.
Right? But
Yes.
check this out. Instead of zap, it's a boost, so you could boost your noost.
Oh, okay, guys,
Yeah.
please boost this news.
Boost this news down below.
Boost this news down below,
Yeah, but
and maybe we can
okay.
split this boost.
No, but uh, uh so but like these boosts or zaps, they're lightning network in the background. That's what
Uh-huh.
enables these kind of things, right? So like for me, it's like very adjacent. So it's not like Bitcoin or whatever. And the other part I want to address as well is that you need multiple pieces of technologies to work together to have some cool thing built, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not, you don't just build something. In my like most cool products, they amalgamate a bunch of different technologies and stuff. I think the most interesting applications are going to be when you use Nostr with Bitcoin plus whatever other technology and whatever other vertical that you have, you're combining those in to form like some interesting solution. So whether you start off with the Nostr, and Nostr is very much in the place now where the things that are being developed, it's very Nosterish,
Mm-hmm.
like. But when you start integrating it with like other technologies and other spaces and stuff, I think that would connect more with people and build more robust experiences. So it's not an either or. That's my long way of saying
It's
that.
both.
Yes.
You've been on Bitcoin for quite a while, right? So you've seen it evolve, and this is it's a long format question right now what I'm doing, so it will evolve. I just need your answer for this first part. Uh, the experience
Hmm.
is completely different, right? But you are focused on making it interesting, on scaling, on making it usable, accessible, right? Um, why? Why? And what made you
Yeah.
go into it that makes you want to make it like this?
Yeah, because it's a time now. So for most of Bitcoin's development is being driven by very technical people, very smart people, very technical cryptographers, and cypherpunks and stuff like this, and people doing a lot of work on the protocol. But in the past 5 years, definitely in the past two, I'd say, since the launch of the Lightning Network, um, uh, we've seen and the launch of it, we've seen more things being built on the application layer.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I like to, move a bit quicker. I want the ecosystem to move a bit quicker. It's been what 14 plus years now, 14 or so years now, right? And like other ecosystems, I showed a graph today. Other ecosystems are trailing us in active developers. Um, so yeah, I'm like, okay, what do we do? Let's try to wake up people. Let's use the hashtag build on Bitcoin, whether that includes Nostr.
Mm-hmm.
I include those things in my slide as well. But you know, people kind of thought it was very boring. Bitcoin's boring.
Yeah.
It's slow,
Yeah.
right? Like it's every 10 minutes you can send a transaction. We're not gonna reach Visa levels, transaction throughput, and all those kind of things. And it's obviously that's not the case because we have the Lightning Network, and if
Yeah.
we go a little bit deeper into it, then it's like, oh, Bitcoin is fast. It's not
Yes.
slow. And the other one is that yeah, it's only for savings, right?
No.
Because it's like, well, if it's so slow, then the only use it has is store of value. That's Bitcoin use case, store of value, which is important, which it can do. But with Lightning address, with all these other things, you're able to like do so much things with Bitcoin. There's even what ordinals now. There's whatever else, whatever you care about, whatever you think about it, you can do all these things. Yeah.
Okay, going back to doing things, and this is the second part of this question. I I was so we have sorry the second part goes we have okay you're building developing Bitcoin is fun. Um, how do we make it? And this goes with Nostr, right? How do we make it? Like easy to grasp for others, right? So like non-technical, not us, not well, not I'm not a technical person, but I think that coming in early makes it easier somehow. Or if you come in early, is because you have like an interest on something, even if you're not
Yeah, the
technical.
early adopters, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the same with Noster, and that's where it comes to how do I do this for other people? How do I do this for I don't know a group of engineers that build houses, and they're starting a project, a home building project in the global south, and they want to be able to make the information and the data available to keep it. What what do we do? How do we link that, and what does it mean to even link that? Why would they even need that?
Yeah, well, that's the question you should start off with. You're like, do they need it, right? Am I trying to show something that somebody doesn't really need, just because I believe in it so much? And I think we have to be a little cautious about that. It's like take a step back. You know, if you really care about humanity or about your fellow person or whatever, think like, am I just shilling this for shilling's sake, or
Exactly.
is it to for my benefit, or is it actually for theirs? So that's where the first place to start off from. But let's say you do come to the assumption or whatever that yes, it is something that will be benefiting whomever. Um, um, I think. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there. But yeah, so we're talking about
Bring in.
the education aspect of it,
Uh-huh.
right? So God, the sun is hot as like
I
like
know,
crazy.
I'm,
Like
I'm I am
joking.
melted, but this is the last question and we
Like,
finish
no
this one.
worries, no, it's not about that. I'm enjoying this. Yeah, so about education and like onboarding and stuff. So like once you do identify that that there's a problem and there's a need for it and there is value to be given, um, then you have to think about the user at the end of the day, or the person that I'm going to talk in the context of like building
Yeah.
apps and building
Uh-huh.
things, right? Because that's what I do. So you think about the user, you put them at the center of what you're building. Some people call it like human-centered design, for
Mm-hmm.
example. And with that, you have to figure out like what kind of devices do they use, right? How much storage that they have on their phones, right? Like how much they pay for data, right?
Very important. How accessible is to get data wherever
Exactly.
they are.
Exactly. What's the frequency of them being able to get that? Now, like you mentioned, global south, so I give those examples specifically with like lacking infrastructure and stuff, and whatever other inequalities. Um, so, like, you really have to go into deep there, and then you have to decide, okay, how am I going to present the solution? The solution to low data, not often online kind of thing might be like an offline first application that does X, Y, Z. So in onboarding them, education, which is what most people say, we need more education, obviously, but
How?
yeah, I think that user experience and thinking about the person that you're building for or presenting something to, that is the critical part, because then you figure out like what languages do they speak and etc etc. So at the core of that, that's my long-winded way of saying,
Yeah, no.
think about the user, think about um, who you're building for, in order to give a good experience, in order to have them on board in a way that they are able to relate to.
That sounds amazing, and that is very on point. To me, critical is, do they need that? That's my question.
Do they need
Do
it?
they need that?
Do they need it?
Well, Johns, I've chased you.
No, no, we can
I've.
get another one. We can get
You want
another.
another one?
Come on, come on.
Okay. Then thank you.
Yeah,
I've been asking this question a lot to everybody. I've had very multiple different answers. Developers and content creators. Obviously, we all have like completely opposite views of this, but to me, Nostr represents not only freedom of speech. Well, I come from the global south, right? So freedom of speech is clearly very important to me. But I also come from a very like bubble privileged little country that has been sheltered from all of the drama that has been going around in my neighboring countries until recently. Recently, we've received an authoritarian, well, not completely authoritarian per se, but an authoritarian president that has been doing a lot of censorship for the press. And to me, Nostr is what I'm using to shelter myself from that. You build. And why do you think building tools like this is so important? And what do you think is needed to make it widespread so that everyone in the global world, not only the global south, has the ability to be able to speak freely, to be private, to have their identity and take it anywhere they want, but it's still theirs and no one can take it away.
yeah. So that's a
Deep
big
question.
one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I haven't been to Costa Rica. I heard it's very beautiful though. Maybe one day.
You need to. No, you're
Um,
invited.
yeah. Let's see. I think there's a lot of work that we're gonna have to do to actually make these things like accessible for people. Um, you know, one of the important things with Bitcoin, as with Nostr, is the censorship resistance of it, right? That's the foundation of what Nostr was
Built
supposed
upon.
to do. Yeah, built upon. And it is it's still kind of difficult to explain the whole private key, public key kind of thing to people, even though it's like super powerful. Some technology in the privacy world, back in the 90s, it's called PGP,
Uh
and it
huh.
was trying to popularize this, like encrypt your data kind of thing. It was used for emails back then. But what ended up happening was that uh, the 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 tools weren't built into the mail clients, right? So you would have to like download something else and go through a whole procedure and stuff like that to set up PGP. But not only that, PGP, what does that even mean, right?
Good question. Yes, I've never heard
um,
of it.
you know, so a lot of like reporters still like that work in these like critical sensitive environments, they still use PGP, right? Still to this day. But the average person doesn't know about it, right? And I think for what I know, that was the first like application consumer wanting to be thing for these public and private keys. But they never caught on. And it was very technically driven kind of community pushing it and stuff, very similar to both Nostr
Bitcoin.
and Bitcoin right now. And that's why I think it's important to kind of like look outside of our ecosystems. A couple of your questions were based on that so far, and that's important to um, to to step out of the just the technicalities and again human-centered design. Know who you're actually building for and connect outside, because if these tools aren't put into the applications or where people are and stuff like that, then we're not going to be able to connect to the maximum amount, right? Bitcoin has to be in Cash App because they have, hundreds of millions of users, right? Um, uh, I would like to see other platforms, other social networks and stuff, the ones that exist, that already have those kind of user base, to also integrate things like Nostr, right? Things like Bitcoin. Maybe not Nostr might be an easier sell for them, but then you have like that true portability of your data and stuff like that. Otherwise, it's definitely like both of them are definitely needed. Build the new things, and but also integrate with the old, and then Nostr thankfully provides that bridge there. So obviously, like you meet new people. This conference was quite interesting though because there's obviously the group that I know, some of the speakers and stuff like that. But I'm very excited to see like more people not necessarily in the industry already, and maybe you don't need to be in the industry. Just use Nostr
And
out there. Use Bitcoin out there. You don't have to like abandon everything
you don't
completely.
have to join the cult.
Yeah, yeah. You see, I think of it as like a pie, right? And if we're all eating from the same pie, then we're gonna be starving. So we need to make it bigger.
I agree. I agree. That's why I think everybody has a part to play. People that own restaurants and take Bitcoin payments, people that work in healthcare and like to use Bitcoin and Nostr, just in general, anyone out there. I think it's for everyone, not just for the ones that are developing and doing marketing and PR for it. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
I'm super happy.
Remember to boost this news.
Boost this news and
Boost this.
build on Bitcoin.
Build on Bitcoin. Hashtag build on Bitcoin. Let's get that one pumping.
Yes.
I want TikTok dances, or build on Bitcoin story times, post some IG thirst traps,
Build on Bitcoin.
build on Bitcoin. Let's go.
I have the perfect. Yeah, you'll see it. I'll get it for you.
Let's go. Let's
Thank
go.
you. Thank you,
Take
everybody.
care.
Bye.